right, so let's fast forward to 1997 and the birth of Mr. Monday Night. Uh, yeah, how was that all kind of laid out for you? Who came up with the whole Monday Night kind of gimmick for you?
Well, it had to do with the ECW having their first pay-per-view, Barely Legal,
Yep.
in '97, and not having RVD booked. So I was offended. I'd been there, I don't know, a little over a year, I guess, and I'd had Sabu telling me that he and I are the best there long enough to where I believed it. And so I was thinking, this is wrong. I walked out of places because I felt that. I walked out of South Atlantic in '92 because they didn't have me booked on all the shows there and they weren't doing much. They weren't drawing. I was only getting $50 a night, and I'm not even on every show. And I'm the one from out of town, and these other guys are local. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go home and see what else comes up. I left WCW in '93. Same reason. I didn't like, what was going on. Wasn't making that much money. So here I am. And I forgot what we're in '97. All right, so they don't have me on the pay-per-view, and I'm thinking, I had around that time, maybe slightly before, or maybe it was during this. It was right around that time. I went to a WCW show that was in the town where I lived in Savannah, Georgia at the time. And I went to see Scotty Riggs. Maybe Louis Spicoli might have been there too. I think he was part of NWO. Some of my friends and Eric Bischoff stepped aside with me and personally offered me a job. So somehow that got out online instantly. And then the industry knew that I was going to be leaving ECW for WCW because that's what you do.
Sure,
that's what everyone does. They use it as a stepping ground to get up to more exposure, more money, a bigger job. So everyone knew that's where I was going to go. And then I'm not on the pay-per-view anyway, so it doesn't seem like Paul's, offering me much to get me to stick around. So, I better see what's going on here. So Paul brought me in, and we had a big meeting where Paul said, "Is there anything I can do to make you want to stay?" And so, that's not a bad way to start negotiations, especially since I really didn't want to go. I really didn't. I love the ECW style. It was my favorite and the most fun that I'd had. And I appreciated very much how my efforts were making a difference, not just in ECW, but then also, in a outer wave, the whole industry, because everyone's watching ECW.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And they're all influenced by it. And the company's growing so much right now. Like, we're hot and the crowds are doubling. And it's like, man, I really would rather stay there and be the whole effing show than be a cog in the wheel, so to speak. And so Paul and I worked it out, and he put me on a guarantee. I had favored nations, which I've heard a few of us did. I've heard recently.
Yeah.
But he also had the idea, everyone thinks you're going to go to WCW. What if you went out there and said, yeah, I belong on Monday nights where all the big stars are. You can expect to see me there. But what if we throw them a swerve and get you on Monday night? He always had that look like,
yeah.
Yeah, Paul, what do you mean? On Raw, I'm like, how are you going to do that? And he said, let's just say Vince owes me some favors. If I could do that, if I could put you on Raw and just for a few weeks, just long enough to however long the angle lasts, and you would be on Monday Night Raw, and you would be on ECW here, and you would be on the spotlight, the business would be around you. You'd be the center point, plus all the money and shit. And that's how we worked it out. You know, I was like, you really can do that? You know, I had no idea about his relationship. None of us did with WWE. We didn't know that he was working for them. I sure didn't know that he was selling me to them without me knowing,
Right.
which ended up being the case. Although he told me and Sabu and Dreamer and everyone who eventually became a part of this invasion angle told us all, you know, they don't want us here. You know, watch your bag. Don't leave anything unattended, and watch your back. And anytime something don't smell right, boom, mention it. We're out of here. And he had us like that on our toes the whole time. And I had no idea. Vince thought that I was already transferring over and working with him. He thought
Wow.
that he'd invested 4 or 5 weeks into this new signee that ended up quitting and leaving because Paul set me up to sabotage myself and to burn a bridge, and it worked great. It worked great, but it also worked great for me.
Yeah, you got the spotlight and all that stuff. Was